Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. We're doing an analysis of Jurassic World Rebirth official trailer 2. So, let's just get right into it. Okay, so, first scene is like the lab, the tube. Oh boy, the tube on the left. It says, I think, Pteranodon Raptor. And then, oh boy, you can just vaguely see the monstrosity right there. The D-Rex containment cell, the InGen logo, there's apparently something on this table. This is set during like 2010, so I don't think it's a Mutadon. I think it might be some sort of, probably a pterosaur, could just be Dimorphodon, maybe. Then the next shot, there's Volcanic. And then the D-Rex. What's happening with the D-Rex? Who knows? There's a little monitor showing 3 people firing at it. And then after that we get the scene of everyone rushing out, and then the guy gets left behind and probably meets his fate. So, I think this gas is to kill the D-Rex. I'm gonna get so into why that doesn't make any sense. But not, well, I mean, it does, but whatever, you know what I mean. No, you don't. Trust me, just trust me on this, okay? So I think this gas is trying to kill the D-Rex, then it falls on the ground, 3 people go in to check on it to see if it's actually dead, and then they get bamboozled like the guy from Fallen Kingdom with the Indoraptor. But they're more lucky than the guy with the Indoraptor, well, aside from one. Again. And then after that, we see the Universal logo. Now, it has been updated to fit the Rebirth theme. It has the Jurassic Park font, and it has the Rebirth color scheme. It is a similar thing with Dominion. And then, yeah, hang on. So yeah, they did a similar thing with Dominion, where they made the logo all amber, and that wasn't in the film, so I'm not expecting this to be either. And you get... Huh. So they mentioned 24 species. I don't think we're going to see 24 species in the film. Here. Okay. More comfortable position. We see the Mutadon. Well, what's left of a Mutadon anyway. I might be reading too into this, but this replacing the Raptor, I think, sets up a precedent, which I'm going to elaborate when we actually see the Mutadons later. But yeah, I don't think we're going to see 2 different ones. The background looks the same, tank is the same, and then the arm is in the same position too. Although this one does look more like rotted or deteriorating. Fuck me, it is so hard to breathe in this. Okay. Gotta work out a more permanent solution than that, but you can see like the wings. It does have 2 heads. Is it? Huh. It's like completely rotted away to the bone. So, huh. I was under the impression from the 2-headed raptor that it was like in that kind of fluid you see dead animals kept in, but, well, maybe not. Unless, I don't know how that works, and that only preserves it for like a set amount of time before the body starts deteriorating. But yeah, I think this does set a precedent as to what happens. And then after this, we get probably the best design of the entire World franchise. Like, I don't know the gender of this thing. I'm assuming male because the color scheme and the bulk, like the males in the Jurassic films are typically more bulkier, mainly with the Rexes, but it isn't green, so I'm not entirely sure. Also, this is around the time they mentioned like the worst of the worst of the worst were left here, while showing a perfectly normal T-Rex. And then people are going to say, actually it's bulkier, therefore it's not the same. Shut up. Well, at least if I post this on TikTok, people would probably be saying that. It's more deadly because they said so. And then people are probably gonna say something stupid like, oh, it's mixed with a crocodile, that's how it can swim. No. Well, don't do this, but like, put your dog into water, it knows how to swim. Put basically any animal into water, it will know how to swim, unless there's like some obscure animal, I'm not sure, that for some reason doesn't know how to swim, even though like most animals can, but whatever. Not a fan of how it's swimming under the water. I think it's mentioned like that in the novel, maybe. It's been a while since I read it. But I would have preferred if it was more of that like prehistoric planet style where its head is poking above the water. Maybe it checks down to see if there's anything else. And yeah, it flips the raft, a bunch of stuff. I would talk about this more, but I don't know what else there is to say. It is just so good. I don't know. Although it doesn't appear that the Aqualops is here. Oh, that is a beautiful shot. My sunglasses don't do this shit. Shades. What? My sunglasses don't do this justice. There we go. Oh, but that is such a beautiful shot. It's just roaring down there. Absolutely stunning. And then after that, you cut to the other guys who hear the roar, which is distorted, but I don't think that means anything. Titanosaurs. Now, there's this debate going on right now whether or not they changed the models. I do think that they did. Like, these look far more bulkier, more mass than the one in the first trailer. And I was so excited in the trailer that we do actually see sexual dimorphism, which makes that 4 species, I think. We had T-Rex, Velociraptor, and the Zeudoceratops. Maybe there's another one I would have forgot, but if not, this makes 4. Well, there's also the Alpha Pteranodon from JP3, but that ended up getting scrapped, so this is the 4th time we're seeing it on screen. And yeah, and it's just a lovely shot. And then it is... where is it? Yeah, then it's overtaken by the fact that there is like 80 of them. That would have wrecked the island's ecosystem by now, right? Like, it's like they've been on this island untouched for 17 years. These creatures need our absence, not something, not our something. They need our, you know, that line from The Lost World. But I think we might have to take care of a few of them. Remember when Alan Grant said they move in herds? Not the titanosaurs, they move in entire countries. And then we get the Quet scene. I love this design. The color scheme, vast improvement over the Dominion one. Not really sure why there's just a temple in the middle of a cliff with like no way of getting there, but whatever. Yeah, I love this thing. The way it sounds, the way it moves. But 2 problems. One, it might be lacking pycnofibers. Maybe. There's no like really good close-up shots that show whether or not it has pycnofibers. I think it does. Maybe. But that's like a minor thing, since most of the dinosaurs in this franchise don't have feathers. Like, even though it would be like the easiest thing, I think. But the crest. Wrong shape, or at least I don't know if there's an accurate shape, but it's not one I prefer. I prefer mine to look like rectangles on the head. Also, the head might be a bit too big. Almost looks like a Funko Pop. Yeah. Far more intimidating than the one we got in Dominion. You want to know why? Because it can get into places that one couldn't. And it would actually have a reason to go after humans. Because those are pretty average sized meals for it. Now, a human to the Dominion Quets would be like eating an ant. That is what it would be like. Oh boy. And then we get the crashed helicopter, which I think has only been here for like several months, because there's still like skin on the hand and stuff. Really, really gruesome stuff. Almost reminds me of Ben Hildebrand, but obviously not that decayed. Somehow still holding a gun. I am really, really hoping that the Quets is what took it down. Like 2, maybe 3 Quets took this down. I really hope it is not the Mutadons, or maybe I don't know. The Mutadon, I'll talk about it when we get them, but they are so tricky. And then we get the shot of the Aqualops, the most dangerous thing here. Again, worst of the worst, just an Aqualops. Oh, I forgot to mention this. I think the titanosaurs are just going to be represented as like these gentle giants, like every single sauropod, which is a shame. I really would have liked to see them use that whip tail. Like, the only time we've seen a sauropod be defensive in anything was the Dino Tracker website. And you can't even access that anymore. So, what was the point? But yeah, we see the Aqualops. CGI doesn't really look the best, especially when comparing it to the shot that comes after, which is the D-Rex in the shadow, and then giving us the clearest shot of the somehow fire-breathing Rex. I'm pretty sure this is the scene they were referring to, be like, oh no, it doesn't breathe fire, there was just a lot of fire in this scene, you know? What? That doesn't make any sense. How? How does this look like it's coming from the D-Rex's mouth? You can literally see the guy holding the flare. Whatever. But this compared to the Aqualops, I think it's like Dolores or something. I don't know. I don't really care. It's like the Baby Yoda of this thing. Because like Bumpy's already grown up. Beta was grown up too. And Bumpy's baby, Smoothie, that's it. Smoothie's also grown up. And all 3 of those are probably dead, let's face it. Like, for some reason, instead of continuing the concept of dinosaurs on the mainland, which was like touched like this much in Dominion, they decided, no, we're going to an island again. Why? I don't know. Still not a fan of this thing. And then after that, we get some shots in the tunnel. And then the Mutadons. Really, really not a fan. Same with the D-Rex. Like, if they appeared in, like, another franchise, like the Monsterverse or something, I wouldn't have a problem. Hell, if that appeared in Primeval, if the Mutadon appeared in Primeval, I wouldn't be too mad. You can just make some shit up, like, oh, some raptors travel through an anomaly, and then they adapted to their new environment, which was like 100,000 million years in the future. They even kind of have the color scheme of the primeval raptor. I don't know. Or maybe this is all just... Maybe they're just going to strip away the Jurassic World branding and this is just going to be an unlicensed Primeval sequel. Actually, that sounds better than the film we're getting. I think that would fix literally all my problems. Well, most of them. But yeah. I really hope these are so confusing. Because I want them to fly so that we have a reason that these aren't just raptors. But at the same time, I don't want them to fly. Because that would be stupid. Like, literally stupid. So, what I was kind of hoping for was that they would be distinct enough from raptors. But they're really not. They are just raptors. Slightly more bulky, and instead of regular arms, they have wings. We also don't see a velociraptor in this trailer. Not even like the foot that was underneath the something. I don't know. We do know velociraptor is in this film, we just don't know the extent. Or do we? Now, there was something a while back, I don't really remember what it was, but they say the raptors show up for like 5 seconds, then get spooked by the Mutadons. That is it. That is all we get. And yeah, the design kind of proves that. They could have easily just like used Charlie or Delta's model, add a few... Maybe they just dug up that old 2001 Raptor CGI model they still have, because it was on the Dino Tracker. And ILM had to send it to Chaos Theorem, I think. Maybe. I don't know what they called. So... Why? Who in their right mind was like, oh yeah, you know the raptors? Those recognizable raptors that are like a star of the franchise? What if we got rid of them? Well, huh? I see no purpose other than a winged raptor. If you really, really needed a winged raptor, you could have just added feathers. Easily. I really hope the raptors get more than just a cameo in this film. We also don't see Spino or Anki in this film, so I'm hoping Spino gets more than a cameo. Cameo. Anki gets more than a cameo. I want them to actually have an impact. I don't want it to be like Dominion, where it's like, oh, here's the Atrociraptors, here's the Pyroraptor, here's the Dimetrodon. No. I don't like that. You could argue that, yes, the first film also did it. But you know what the first film had? 7 species. The only one I would say was wasted was Para, because it just appears in the background. Though apparently that was going to be Myosaur, and then Hadrosaurus would have also been in place of Gallimimus, and then the T-Rex would have killed the Hadrosaurus. But the Galli, Dilophosaur, Brachy, Velociraptor, T-Rex, and Trike, they all had these standout moments that was benefited by the low species count. You could easily remember them. Now, Dominion's whole selling point, kind of, was that this has the most films in any Jurassic film, most dinosaurs in any Jurassic movie. We don't care. We just want a good story, good designs. The Mutadons, yes, good design. Doesn't belong in this franchise, though. Shove it somewhere else. Shove it up your ass. That's where you should shove it. So yeah, really hoping that the Raptors get more than just 5 seconds in this film. Bloody hell. And then people will be like, actually, they were never dinosaurs to begin with. Yes, they were. I will make an entire goddamn rant about it if I have to. All these stupid theories I found. And then the mosasaur scene. I just went on a long-ass rant. Just know, love this design. It is beautiful. Now, there's still the problem, it's oversized. To me, that's okay. This movie has far, far bigger problems to worry about. But I also think that it retaining its oversized stature is a benefit, because I don't think a regular mosasaur could have filled this slot. Which is why they should have replaced it with a Shonisaur, Shastasaur. It's the really big Ichthyosaur. The big one that's in evolution. So, yeah. I don't mind it being oversized here. My real only complaint is the head shape being a bit too robust and it not having a forked tongue. Also, the slit pupils are kind of distracting. It drags them across a cliff, and yeah, that's the trailer. Now, before I get into my hypothesis about the D-Rex and stuff, I'm just going to list a few dumb theories I heard from the first trailer when that came out. Now, if you're on the side of TikTok I'm on for the Jurassic community, there were a bunch of really, really, really dumb theories. Like, even then, you probably should have known, not me. I'm smarter than that. So, I'm just going to list them off. The Megalodon. The mosasaur has a fluke tail. Love that. Just like it did in real life. But somehow, people thought that was a Megalodon. I don't know how. Also, if you wonder why it took so long, it's because I have like a bunch of these mixed in with others, so I have one that just says Spino Boat. I have no idea what that means. I forgot. But it's also mixed with some like other ones, other stupid ones, like the Spino's baby being killed, like something like Ultimasaur being in Paddock 10, a bunch of garbage like that. So, no, there is no Mosasaurus in Jurassic World Rebirth other than a pair of jaws we see in that bar area. Wait, is that it? Huh. Okay, well, huh. Never mind, I found another one. Site C. People thought this was taking place on Site C. That's the entire thing. Which, maybe, personally, I think it goes San Diego Site A, Sauna Site B, which is the only confirmed one, and Nublar Site C. Meaning this would take place on Site D. When the first trailer came out, I was under the impression that would be Site A, then they retconned, but no. I'm pretty sure that's also the official one, it's just never been stated anywhere. Now, this trailer unfortunately confirmed that my biosyn theory was not correct. Shame, I really like that. But it does give me new material to work with. So, 2009. Scorpius Rex is made, or maybe it was made before then. It goes on a rampage in the lab, almost kills Wu, and then is deemed as a failure, put on stasis, cryostasis. And is deemed as a failure. Did I mention that already? I don't know. So what I think is like, okay, we're not going to let this happen again just in case it gets out into the public. So they go to this other island, which was the research facility of the original Jurassic Park, bunch of stuff, and then they start making new dinosaurs, being Spino, Titanosaur, Aquilops, basically anything that wasn't mentioned in the original first two. First two, which would also include Quets, and no, that's it. So on this island would have been some other dinosaurs, and then we can just say like a hurricane or something caused them to evacuate, kind of like Sauna. And then they moved all their operations to Sauna. If that line about it being the research facility for the original Jurassic Park is correct, which is also a retcon. David Koepp said none of those, but because why would you need to? You don't need Sauna and this Rebirth Island. Site R. Site Rebirth. There we go. Now we have a name. Rebirth Island. You don't need both of those, you just need one. Technically, you could have just, like, done the cloning process on Nublar or San Diego or wherever and saved all that money with oil and stuff, but whatever. They say, no, we're not doing this. We are moving a hybrid operation to another. Because there's this really stupid line about how people aren't impressed by a real dinosaur, and then Claire says something like, children look at a stegosaur like how they look at an elephant. Have you seen how they look at an elephant? They are in awe, wonder. How is that a bad thing? Also, apparently Henry works at this museum that's shutting down because dinosaurs are in our world. Meaning people can just go see them. 1. Zoos are a thing. Like, this also works with the other one, because, like, every zoo has the same animal, but there's, like, 50 zoos in each country. So, the one dinosaur zoo would not need to make hybrids, because it is the only one. There is no competition whatsoever. What do you mean people aren't impressed by a real dinosaur? And then they say, like, every time we make a new species, attendance rate spikes. So just keep making new species. You don't need to go out Frankenstein. Whatever. But Henry's museum shutting down makes no sense, because A, apparently all the dinosaurs are dying off, meaning there's a need for museums again, and 2, because of the zoo argument I made. Like you could have just gone to Africa if you want to see an elephant, but no, you go to a zoo. You could have just, hell, even zoos even have, like, normal stuff. Like, Australia Zoo has, like, a bunch of animals that you would just, like, commonly see. Like, mainly lizards that just run around the park. But still, okay? So, there's that. Really, no reason for the museum to be shutting down. You don't even have to mention that. Like, that's not important to the movie's plot. Side tangent away. For some reason they decided that, like, we shouldn't keep bringing back species, we should make new ones. And then Scorpius, that whole happens. Fuck, I'm repeating myself. Okay, so they're on the new island, and then they're experimenting with hybrids. Where And then they try to, like, at their first attempt, Mutadons would be like these pterosaurs mixed with raptors, and then they're deemed too ugly. I think that was the reason Scorpius was put on cryostasis, not because it almost killed people. No, it was that, but at first they wanted to kill it because it was ugly. I'm starting to think the mask might be the problem. It's not helping me think, because I'm worried about my mouth overheating. But whatever. Mutadons also deemed a failure, mainly because they couldn't get it right. But eventually they do, and then they keep them alive. And then they try going for something bigger. This would be pre-Indominus, so they would be like, maybe we tie a bit of like concept art history, where it was originally called the D-Rex before switching to the Indominus. So maybe it was originally called the D-Rex, and then after everything went bad here, they changed like the name, forgot all about this place. So they're mutating? No, they're experimenting with like mixing different animals together, you know, all that stuff. And then eventually they, on the 23rd or 33rd try, there's like a number like V23 or something like that on the side. I forgot to take a look. But they're like, yes, we finally did it. And then they keep checking up on it, which explains why they didn't kill it at birth. Something I've been complaining about since it was like rumored. Why would a mutant not be killed? And now we know why. Because it was intentional. They wanted it to look like a mistake. Well, more like, I don't know. I really don't think Guess would have appreciated seeing this like giant overgrown toad. But hey ho, this is the Jurassic universe. People are stupid. And then yeah, one day things go completely wrong. Like the D-Rex starts going aggro, maybe like the Mutadons escape too, who knows. But that would be after. But the D-Rex eventually starts, for whatever reason, gets agitated. They try to kill it. People go in to check. They get bamboozled, and then the D-Rex eats a guy, and then I'm assuming it would like somehow break out, which causes them to abandon the facility and have to start the hybrid project on Nublar again. Though this time they would have experience. This also does mean that these are still hybrids, not mutants. Just like, we all knew. They were fictional dinosaurs, we all knew. Anyways. Oh boy. We talked through a lot, and I'm really hoping the Mutadons die in a fiery explosion. And then get overshadowed by Velociraptors making their proper appearance. That is the takeaway from this video. I hate the Mutadons, and I really want to see raptors, especially because this is the best they've ever looked since Jurassic Park 3. The world designs, not it. Those were not good. I do not like those. No offense if you like blue and opaque, but I do not like those. But yeah, that's been my look at Jurassic World Rebirth Trailer 2, and like my hypothesis as to what the D-Rex and the Mutadons are, essentially being failed hybrids, which caused the entire island to be abandoned. Anyways, yeah, that's all about it. See you next week. Oh, wait, hang on. On my usual upload day, I did a short about how you can request your own dinosaurs you want me to repaint. And then I posted that, like, 10 hours before I posted my real one, because I don't know why. I forgot. Oh yeah, because I didn't want it to be overshadowed. Like, I wanted to get them out on the same day, but I didn't want, like, the trailer to be one of them to overshadow the other. But since then, I've had 3 requests, and that spans a total of 7 species. So, ones no longer available are Iguanodon, Giga, and one of the Ankylosaurs. The other one is from Disney's Dinosaur. The Velociraptor, the other one available, has a deformed head. Allosaurus, like a really, really retro Allosaur. Beautiful. Dimetrodon, and Rex, T-Rex. So these guys aren't available anymore. I'm not going to update the thing, just know you can't request those anymore. Anyways, now that's all about it. See you Sunday when I post a repaint. Not one of those, just one I've wanted to do for a while. And then next week I will start doing the ones you guys requested. Bye.